While India was struggling to build a self-sufficient economy, art was resurfacing. Artists were no longer neutral in their expression. Every citizen of the country had an inner urge to reshape and rebuild the society. As famine of 1943 and migration of 1947 left a deep cultural impact and frustration, depiction of human misery found its way in all forms of art, especially visual and literary. The temporary sense of freedom of expression post-independence and influence of the neorealistic world cinema gave rise to filmmakers like Bimal Roy, Satyajit Ray, and Raj Kapoor. This newfound sense of freedom was felt for the first time in centuries. First, subdued under Mughal rule, and more recently by British colonialism. It was the beginning for a common man to dream and express freely. As India was trying to build itself as a new independent country, it had to look inwards. Idea of independence was bound to trickle down to poor and impoverished. It was a matter of time till people subdued by society based on sex, religion, caste, and money understood it was not normal. As the counterculture movement took a hold of Western world in 1960s, India also saw an uprising against the age-old feudal system. By 1970s, it hit its peak, and undercurrent movements like Naxalism started to emerge. It was during this time Shyam Benegal directed his first 3 feature films: Ankur, Nishant, and Manthan. These films are as important historically as they are culturally, as these were made right before the influx of televisions into Indian households in 1980s. Ankur, in simplest terms, is a social commentary on class divide in the Indian society. As simple as it sounds on the surface, it delivers a very complex narrative. Now, how does the director achieve this? Shyam Benegal's compassionate yet non-interfering approach translates beautifully onto the screen. The viewer is not forced to feel anything, yet the effect is profound. It is because of the mere fact that any unadulterated depiction of human emotions tend to elicit similar reactions in us. What Ankur achieves is, it shows us the moral dissociation we have with people who are not like us. Shyam Benegal's second film showed another facet of Indian society deep-rooted in classism and patriarchy. In an oppressed society, weakest unit of the society, especially women, are exploited without any moral repercussions, as depicted painfully in the film. As established earlier, Shyam Benegal's non-interfering approach, which can be easily mistaken for a simplistic point of view, brings forth not only the anguish and suffering of women, but also the inability and frustration of men entrapped by class and economic structure. The film concludes with the uprising of the oppressed villagers against the tyrannical landowners. The third installment of the trilogy, Manthan, shows flip side of the same society as it tries to break free from tradition. Shyam Benegal captures the ongoing struggles of a progressing society with unbiased and unrelenting clarity. The film follows a story of Dr. Rao trying to improve the welfare of small-scale milk producers by making them self-sufficient. The story is set in rural India. Now, even though it is for the greater good of the people, the milk producers find it hard to give up their loyalty towards the selfish and low paying local milk buyer. Here, Shyam Benegal touches on the dichotomy of human predicament. First, the inability to see the bigger picture, and also how important it is to forget about the short term gains to break free from this unending cycle of misery. As they say, it's always easier to choose familiar evil over stranger good. Shyam Benegal's cinema doesn't try to change you by forcing an opinion. Opinions which are all around us. Opinions which manipulate us. Shyam Benegal puts up a mirror to the society. The narrative of the film runs parallel with the world we live in today. From the pre-internet era where people suffered in isolation to the collective consciousness of today's well-connected world. Weakest links of our society, be it impoverished children, women or men, are still being exploited. Maybe that's what we need. A mirror. A mirror without blemishes of opinions. In the world we live in, struggles of the society might seem different. Human suffering remains the same. In the times of abundant, maybe too much information, why is it that we still struggle with emotional and social divide? From illiteracy to learned ignorance. How did we miss the middle ground? We as people may forever be divided by our cultures and prejudices, but we will always be united by our experiences.